Well, it's confirmed. Captain America 4, Brave New World, starring Falcon. It is not soaring. It is absolutely boring. That's what test screenings are saying, and maybe even worse. Now, a third round of reshoots is underway with just days left before they have to call it a wrap because they only have 3 months before the movie comes out. We'll tell you why the MCU is shaking, quivering, and scared, and we'll explain it right now. Hello to all fans of Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 before the Phase 4 that showed Marvel fans the door, the Phase 5 dive, and the Phase 6 that we are currently in. The MCU has never looked worse, and now, well, they're very concerned that Avengers could suffer because, well, they've got a Silver Surfer who's not actually who you might expect. It's Silver Surfette. And you know that Thunderbolts is not thundering into audiences, so they're depending heavily on this new Captain America movie that doesn't star Captain America. There's just one huge problem. It seems like they pinned all of the story on the idea that everyone hates Orange Man bad. Now Disney is sad they ever contemplated that storyline. Folks, click the like button. We'll tell you what's going on behind the scenes of the MCU. Captain America, Brave New World. Well, it's basically confirmed now. And again, we have more that'll be coming out on the Patreon, more than we are willing to say yet on the channel. But appears very confirmed now that they are under major reshoots. And we held up, and I even told Marvin on thatparkplace.com not to report on this yet. And so that was kind of a little egg in our face. But at the same time, we try to be safe and make sure we're always giving you the truth as best we can. It was hard to believe. I mean, really hard to believe that we are at the end of November. This comes out in February. And it was very difficult to believe that they would be going through significant reshoots. And there's another layer to this that I'm not willing to say yet publicly because we've only got one source on it, although it's a very good source. But here's what we got out of Breitbart from Nolte, John Nolte. Disney's Captain America 4 enters third round of reshoots after bad test screening. Here's what it says. With its release date only 4 months away, the latest reports say Captain America Brave New World is doing a third round of reshoots. Reports that the fourth Captain Adventure was set to undergo more reshoots were recently confirmed when star Anthony Mackie was spotted shooting new scenes for the movie in L.A. There was speculation that these might simply have been a few minor pickups, but it's starting to sound like they have been more expensive. That's from Comic Book Movie. Now, Daniel Richtman had the original story about this, and they said that they were doing these reshoots after more test screenings that came back negatively. We think we know why. We're not ready to report that on the channel yet. A little over a year ago, Breitbart News reported on this troubled production, the negative test screenings and expensive reshoots. The budget must be climbing into the $350 to $400 million range by now, and that's without promotional costs, which could bring the total cost to something near $500 million. Folks, there is no way at this point that this can recoup its losses. Why is Disney continuing to pour money in and reshoot this film with 3 months left to go? We're talking about in February, they released Captain America Brave New World. Looks like it needs $1 billion to break even now. And in March, they're releasing Snow White, and it looks like it needs $1 billion to break even. And I will eat crow on this channel, not real crow, but metaphorical crow, if either of these manages to hit the $1 billion mark. I don't know. Am I wrong? Are you all amazed as I am that they are continuing to tinker with this?
At this point, I think they understand that they're not going to make money on Captain America. I think at this point, it's all about future films. They're basically like, if people can walk away from the movie at least thinking that it's at least somewhat good, then we've saved the next Captain America. We've saved the next Avengers. We've saved the MCU from having egg on its face. I'm pretty sure at this point they're chalking it up as a financial loss, and it's all just about the brand going forward and trying to keep the brand strong.
All right. What say you, panelists? I mean, does this have any chance of success?
I think they were making a Trump propaganda film.
Yes.
And the election hit, and they were like, I guess people might like that guy, and they got to change it, they changed it up. It's really sad because they don't want this movie to fail because there you go, another black actor that they put on the front, and they gave him a terrible production with a terrible story. I don't blame him. I think he's a great actor, honestly. But the story and everything, and it's like they're going to put that in the forefront, and it's going to make him look bad, which is terrible. Like it's terrible that Disney does this.
It's a pattern over and over and over now. It's awful.
And so now, like when being at these conventions with Juan Carlo, he made a statement at one of them. I don't know if he was supposed to do this or not. He basically was like, when he wasn't in the original film and they added his character and they reshot half the film with his character in there. So then all of a sudden he's like, and the last con we were at together, he made another statement in the panel. Like, so it was out. The recordings are out there. He was like, yeah, I got called back. I got to go shoot some more because they decided to change some things again. So I'm like, good Lord, man. Like they must have reshot an entire film twice over just because like it wasn't what they wasn't what they wanted. So it's going to be a mess, man. This is going to be an absolute mess.
Well, you would think at point this out, get tired of throwing money at it.
Gina's line was longer, even though we got somebody who's in the one of the most expensive MCU films out there.
You would think that they would get tired of throwing money, but I want to pull this up. We don't normally throw a super chat up during the middle of a story, but it goes right in with this. Jonas, you might know the answer. Where does all the money go from every failed project? That from Aunt Jemima for 5.
Well, it doesn't necessarily go to the VFX studio unless they hire more VFX studios. It would go towards, I guess, more studio time. That's actually a really great question that I'm going to put a little bit more research into it long term. But when they do things like this, it goes to, first of all, the producers are going to get a little cut for themselves, and the everybody down the line gets another piece at the pie here. I don't think that Harrison Ford signed up for 4 rounds of reshoots. I don't think Giancarlo Esposito signed up for 3 rounds of reshoots. So there's probably some negotiations there. It might even be some kind of negotiation with famous instance where Cavill was brought back for Justice League, but they needed his time away from Mission Impossible 5 Fallout. I'll say Fallout instead of the number here. So I think there's some money changing hands even between studios on things like this. At this point, I think they give up on where all that money goes. I think they give up on it making sense. I think they give up on it being financially responsible because at this point there is no way that this film is profitable. There is no way they make any money off of this one. It just needs to get done. It needs to be behind them. And the fact that they have this, I just realized that they've got an Eternal shot in there. Yikes. Speaking of weighty continuity, this is something that just has to be out. And the fact that the MCU is supposed to be one piece of continuous media over 30 or 40 or I think 50 pieces of content I've found at this point, they have no option. They can't just say number 3 didn't happen. They have your Red Hulk. They have this character Sabra that there's now rumors that she's getting her own thing. This is a mess. It needs to be done. Maybe the MCU needs to go away for a while, but it's not because they just paid $100 million to get Robert Downey Jr. So I don't know. It's bad money after bad at this point.
I think they hope that it's going to lose. Not that they hope, but I think they know they're going to lose money, but they hope to put out a good film. Like I think that's where they're at. So even if it lost money, people will still say, "Oh, it was still decent," that they made the right call and the reshoots and stuff. But it's I don't know. I don't see much excitement for this film. I don't see a lot of people talking about it in a positive light. So.
And I literally, my mind is blown. I just realized they showed the hand of that Celestial coming out This is the first time I'm noticing that. One of the scenes where he's outside of the aircraft carrier. This is in this area right here. You can see the fingers. They look like clouds in this, but the Eternals is going to be a part of this plot. So that is my goodness.
Yeah, I've come up with.
I am so not interested in this film because I have a fundamental problem with it. Since Sam Wilson doesn't have the super serum,
Yes,
he can't even throw Cap's shield right. So you mean to tell me he's going to be able to take on Red Hulk in this movie? I have a fundamental problem with that.
Wait a minute, Lorena. What if? Just humor me for a moment.
Okay.
What if they go get the Trump animatronic from the Hall of Presidents, and they put it in the movie, and they have the new Captain America go up to it, and say, "Hey, you're all right with me." And then the Trump animatronic says, I really like the MCU. It's going to be huge. It's going to be MC huge. What do you think? I mean, that's how Disney could possibly placate all of this. Maybe. I don't know. Sort of? Kind of?
Unless it only works if it's a new animatronic and it doesn't look like Hillary.
You know what I just realized too? They did Bad Trump in the end of Secret Invasion too. I guess they're dropping that one.
We got Red Hulk. We got Red Hulk now, people. They're red now. Our movement. I start wearing a red hat. All of a sudden, we got Red Hulks walking around. I don't know.
I got to tell you, though, Lorena pointed out the most important thing about the entire film is that they even have a poster with Red Hulk punching the shield and Sam holding it up. Now, he's not a superhuman, so he probably should be killed after that. Honestly, as a comic book person, you don't survive that. And I don't understand why they just didn't want to. The Falcon is a great character. In the comics, I don't understand why they just didn't want to do a Falcon film. But I guess the name Captain America they felt would have more weight to it and more people would go see it. But Lorena is 100% correct. He shouldn't be throwing the shield like that. He shouldn't be acting as if he has super strength or anything like that. That's just not who he is. So it's just bad comic book film at this point. So
my major issue with the movie is you're taking from the Hulk lore to give it to not Captain America. Because the two villains of this are Red Hulk and the Leader. People are forgetting that the Leader is the main villain of this, which is Hulk's greatest villain. So it's just an entire mess. They're taking from other lores because they got no stories left to tell for Captain America.
Did you hear the leaks though? This is supposed to set up the new Avengers. So
right,
you got the female Avengers showing up at the end to fight Red Hulk, allegedly, which is Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop. It's all the women. Probably that. I don't know the Warlock from Agatha and some
Jay,
others
I
are all.
cannot wait. I mean, the content I'm going to create for an entire month. This is wonderful. Please keep it coming, MCU. The new Captain might not survive the hits from the Red Hulk, but this channel and the channel of many others are going to thrive off of Red Hulk if that's what they do. Jay, thank you for that.
I hope they do it. I want them to just jump in the deep end with it all and just.
It's probably what they're replacing. It's probably what they're replacing with these reshoots.
And put another one in the can, folks. A video of excellence has been birthed into existence, and you were there to witness it. Thank you for participating. We hope you had a good time. Folks, it's a great time anytime we get to share time with you, and we mean it. The only thing additional we ask, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, if you would be so kind, perhaps share this out on your favorite social media platforms. Folks, we've got all kinds of content coming your way. If you are interested in going even beyond all of that, well, there's a pro store, and you can always find those items directly below the video you're watching. The pro store, it's a cool place to check out for items that, well, definitely Disney and the rest are not going to sell you, but we're happy to do so. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.